Hello there, my friends. Thanks for joining today. I've got an amazing hack for you that's going to teach you how to take all of those patterns that you have, face mask patterns, sewing patterns, and how to convert them into something that's more sustainable, going to last longer, and easier to work with. So hang in there. We're going to get right to it. So, when I had the sewing factory, we used to take all of our sewing patterns for our swimwear and our activewear line, and we transferred them to 3mm plastic, which I would buy rolls at a time. I would buy 20 yards, 60 inches wide, 3mm plastic, and we would just transfer everything. And it was the ideal product because we could easily trace our patterns for layer cutting, and then we could also use the rotary mat and wheel for any individual cuts, because we also did custom swimwear in my shop. So there was a need for both, and we found that this was the perfect product. Now, most sewers that are working from home do not have the room in their sewing rooms or need a roll 20 yards of 3mm plastic 60 inches wide. So it sent me out on a hunt. I went shopping to try and find something that was comparable to the plastic that we used, so that you could transfer all your face mask patterns to something that would have a longer shelf life, would be easier to work with. You wouldn't have to worry about nixing cuts. It would lay flat, stay in place. It just the perfect solution for you. So without further ado, I'm going to go through some of these different things that we purchased, and let's see which ones work best and which ones will work best for you. Okay, the first item on my list that I thought was relatively close to the plastic that I found at the dollar store was this plastic plate, and you could buy 5 of them for $1. And let's see how well it's going to trace my pattern. Not bad. It's not doing it bad. It's not exactly. Oh, but look at that. Look at that awful noise that it made too. It's not very pliable, so I don't think that this is a good choice. I'm going to go ahead and throw that away, and let's go to the next item. So the next item I also found at the dollar store, which is a shelf storage liner, Magic Cover, this brand in particular. And this comes 18 by 4 foot. And one of the things I liked about this was the fact that it was clear. And so if you were cutting something symmetrical and you wanted to get all your lines together and get a nice matching lines for a purse or mask or anything where you want those lines to meet up and your item to be symmetrically cut, I thought this was perfect. I've got a little scrap piece here for you, and we're going to see just how easily this cuts. And I'm going to take my pattern that is out of paper, and I'm going to use just an ordinary pen. And this is one of my favorite hacks here. Is a jar, a olive jar from an old candle that's been cleaned out with some pennies in it, and it makes the perfect weight, and it costs whatever the pennies cost you. These days I hear that we may not be using them anymore, which makes me sad. So I can easily cut this with my scissors. And these are not my good sewing scissors. These are my pattern cutting scissors, paper scissors, plastic scissors. You should always maintain good scissors for sewing. And if you have to, hide them in your lingerie drawer so that your husband or spouse does not find them. Or kids, and think that they're for crafts. And this way that you can keep them sharp. Nobody will go in your lingerie drawer. I learned that hack a long time ago. So that turned out pretty good. Let's see how it's going to cut this fabric. And this is just 100% cotton that I'm cutting here. And I am going to just utilize my weight. And I know there's probably women out there saying, oh, you're wasting fabric. And I don't want to waste fabric, but I want to make sure that this demo is very easy for you to see. And fantastic. Hey, that did a pretty good job of cutting our pattern. I like that. Probably a little bit of alcohol would take off the ink so that you don't get the ink on you, but that worked pretty well. I'm gonna say for bigger patterns, for something like palazzo pants or jackets, this would be my go-to. This would be something that I would use that I think is a good alternative to that 3mm plastic that we used to use in the factory. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so this is the original one that I used in my early 20s, late teens, and it was placemats. And you don't find placemats that much anymore. You can find them in the summertime because there's a lot of outdoor dining and picnicking. And so there's always these decorated ones that you can find at the dollar store. I found this one at Walmart for $1. So this is a great buy as well. And I believe that it's going to do really well for us to convert our pattern to. And there we go. So I am just going to, on the outside of this, and I want to make sure that everyone can see what I'm doing. So it was, let's try it with just tracing. I put my jar of pennies on top of there so that I could have my other hand free to hold the mat in place, hold the pattern if I need to. Okay, fantastic. That pen did a good job of, and then let's see how easily it cuts. Oh yeah, that cuts actually pretty nice, as expected, since it's something that I've used before. And I am going to just follow through, and bear with me while I cut this for you. When you're cutting a pattern out of plastic, make sure to come in really deep on your scissors, especially if you're cutting anything with a curve. You're going to get a much cleaner cut. And I think that worked really well. And if I wanted to label it, I could use some stickers, or if you have a cry cut, you could probably actually cut this on a cry cut, but not too bad. Let's see how it cuts the fabric. Okay, rotary mat and wheel. Not bad at all. I would say that this is a pretty good choice, and for $1 for this large placemat that is 12 by 17, you could easily probably get 5 or 6 of your face mask patterns out of it, or maybe 2 of them would do a nice handbag. So not a bad choice, and pretty easy to work with and easy to cut with your scissors. So next one up. So on my visit to Walmart, I found the perfect thing. It is these kitchen cutting mats, and they come usually pre-packed 4 to a package. They are 14 by 10 inches, a little bit bigger than that. And we're gonna give this one a try, but I like the feel of this. I bought a couple different versions of it, and I'm gonna post some pictures of the 2 different versions that I purchased. I actually like this one a lot, and one of the reasons I like it is, and I don't know if you can see that in the camera, it's got this grid texture to the back of it, and I found with copying patterns over that grid is just very valuable in keeping things attached to your fabric. And I'm going to show you what I mean here in just a second. I am going to do a quick trace with my pen. And it's a little bit gritty on the side, this particular mat, and that's okay. That is actually going to benefit us as we convert over. Just want to make sure that I had something visible that I can see. Hopefully the camera can see that too. And I am going to cut myself out just to, oh, it cuts really nice. It's a little bit thicker than the placemat, and I am just going to go deep in my scissors, and I think I'm going to cut both curves first. Again, I'm going to go, anytime I'm cutting on a curve, I'm going to go really deep. Now you could probably cut this with your cry cut if you have one, but I wanted to show something that everyone could use and everyone could do regardless if they had a cry cut or not. So hey, all right, just very light. Fantastic. So I can match it up. It's looking good. Yep, right on point. And as I said earlier, one of the things I like about this is that texture that it has on one side, because it keeps the pattern from slipping and moving. And what does that mean? That means less of your hands having to be holding and keeping everything in place while you're cutting. So I absolutely loved that it did that. So I'm going to show you how this cuts. And just to do a turn and cut for you. And when you're cutting with the rotary wheel, always make sure that the wheel is closest to your pattern. That's how you get the cleanest, smoothest cut. And that just glides right around that cutting mat, that kitchen cutting mat. It's going to be beautiful for your face mask patterns to archive them, and they should last forever. Now it turned out beautiful, how great it was to cut, how the wheel, the thickness of it is just right. It's a little light of the 3mm plastic that we used, but regardless, the wheel is just going to go right with the direction. The gem out of everything that we tested today is definitely the flexible kitchen cutting mats, and you can buy them just about anywhere. They all have this non-slip grid on the back of them. I'm going to put the links to this one and the other one below. I prefer this one because it has that grid on it, and the fabric will not move. Like, the pattern just stays where you need it to stay while you're cutting, and I love that. I love that it makes my life easier, and it takes away one less thing. I don't have to pin. I don't need a weight. I know that that's going to just stay in place. I probably shouldn't be cutting that direction with the rotary wheel with my hand behind it. But that being said, I love this, and I love that it just takes a little sticker to label it if you need a memory on what this pattern piece is for, or the grain line or anything like that. To learn how to sew any of my masks, I have the convertible cup mask pattern, single tie Velcro, 2 colors, and then I also have the diamond filter face mask, same thing, single tie Velcro. The Velcro can be worn high on the head or over the ears and down at the baseline of the neck. Both of those videos will be at the end of this video. And or you can also check it out at the streamlineseamstress.com. I hope you love this hack as much as I do. It has withstood the test of time, and I keep going back to it and using it throughout my life, and I think that you will find that you're going to love it as much too. If you've enjoyed this video and you've learned something, be sure, give me a thumbs up, Let me know how I'm doing. If you use something else to make your patterns, leave me a comment below. I'd love to learn what people out there are using. And be sure to subscribe to my channel because I have so many great things that I want to share with you, and I am doing my best to post videos for you regularly. But if you subscribe to my channel and you ring the little bell, then you'll be notified when I post a new video of ways that you can streamline your sewing. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. I am honored and blessed to be able to help you with your sewing, help you improve your skills, save time, money, and energy, and above all else, keep sewing. It is good for your soul. Take care.